Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The headlines reverberated across Washington and Southeast Asia. Manila rejects U.S. F-16 deal. Philippines grounds $5.50 billion fighter jet purchase. For months, the deal was seen as a certainty, a symbol of renewed alliance and American commitment. The Philippines, with its aging air force, was poised to acquire a fleet of the world's most proven multi-role fighter jets. Both governments had championed the agreement, expecting it to reinforce America's strategic presence in a volatile region. But in a stunning move, the Philippine government quietly walked away. The decision, announced on August 11, 2025, wasn't about anger or a diplomatic rift, but a fundamental shift in Manila's thinking. This was more than a canceled arms purchase. It was a declaration of a new national security path, one defined by Philippine priorities and vision. The shockwaves are forcing a re-evaluation of alliances and power dynamics. The decision followed months of intense debate within the Philippine government. Traditionalists saw the F-16S as the ultimate security guarantee from their oldest ally. But a new generation questioned the wisdom of such a massive expenditure and the risk of dependency. They highlighted staggering life cycle costs, lack of technology transfer, and the dangers of relying on a single foreign partner. This wasn't just about jets, it was about national identity. The days of U.S. bases at Clark and Subic Bay are long gone. Today, the Philippines is forging its own identity, no longer content to be a junior partner. The rejection of the F-16 deal is Manila's boldest signal yet. It demands to be seen as an equal, choosing its own path to strength and security. On paper, the F-16 deal was a generational leap for the Philippine Air Force. The $5.5 billion package included 12 advanced F-16 Viper jets, cutting-edge radar, and a robust support package. For an Air Force reliant on outdated aircraft, this was transformative. Washington saw it as a strategic masterstroke, cementing the alliance, boosting interoperability, and sending a message to Beijing. The deal promised jobs for the U.S. defense industry and a landmark achievement for Manila. For the Philippines, the F-16S meant instant credibility. A true multi-role fighter, capable of air-to-air combat, maritime strikes, and robust patrols over the West Philippine Sea. The jets would have been a powerful deterrent and a symbol of national pride. Politically, it was meant to erase doubts about the alliance. The F-16S were more than planes, they were a symbol of shared commitment to regional stability. But beneath the allure, questions lingered about cost, sustainability, and independence. The South China Sea is a global trade artery, and a flashpoint. For Manila, it's about sovereignty over the West Philippine Sea, rich in resources but threatened by China's expansion. Chinese vessels routinely harass Filipino fishermen and disrupt exploration. The Philippine military, underfunded for decades, struggles to monitor and defend its vast archipelago. The Air Force's most capable jets are light trainers, no match for China's advanced fighters. Without a credible deterrent, the Philippines is vulnerable to Beijing's gray zone tactics. Modern fighters like the F-16 could have changed the game. Advanced radar, long-range, and anti-ship missiles to patrol and defend Philippine waters. This isn't about starting a war, it's about establishing a minimum credible deterrent. A stronger Philippine Air Force would contribute to regional stability and support the U.S. strategy of integrated deterrence. The F-16S were meant to be a key node in a network of capable allies, but Manila's decision signals a new approach to security. The F-16 was long the front-runner in Manila's fighter acquisition program. Pilots dreamed of flying the American jet, seen as the pinnacle of Western air power. The U.S. State Department's approval in 2021 was met with excitement, but the final contract never materialized. As months passed, enthusiasm gave way to skepticism. At $5.5 billion, the deal would have consumed a huge portion of the defense budget for years. Critics questioned whether a dozen jets justified the cost or if they'd create new financial burdens. The public debate intensified. Was this the best use of taxpayer money? Washington assumed strategic logic would override all else, but underestimated Manila's growing desire for independence. The Philippines was no longer willing to accept a deal just because it came from its powerful ally. Manila applied a new standard, prioritizing sustainability, economic sense, and national interest. The rejection signaled that the old rules had changed. The Philippines is now playing by its own. The F-16 deal, once a sure thing, became a casualty of a new mindset. Officially, the F-16 deal was rejected due to cost, but the real story runs deeper. The $5.5 billion price tag was just the beginning. Operating and maintaining the jets would cost 2 to 3 times more over their lifespan. Manila saw a potential budget black hole, draining resources from other vital military projects. The deal would have made the Air Force almost entirely dependent on the US for parts, software, and support, a strategic vulnerability. What if Washington's political winds shifted? Dependency could become leverage. Manila wanted a partner, not a patron. The lack of meaningful technology transfer was another deal-breaker. The F-16S would be off-the-shelf purchases, with little opportunity to build domestic capability. The new defense policy aims for self-reliance and a homegrown defense industry. National pride played a role. The Philippines wanted a smarter, more practical solution. Planners argued for an aircraft that was affordable, sustainable, and tailored to Philippine needs. The decision was a bold statement of confidence. Manila chose to chart its own course. Rejecting the F-16S has reshaped the US-Philippine alliance. For Washington, it's a setback, forcing a rethink of how to support Manila's modernization. The easy path of selling top-tier American hardware is closed. New, creative approaches are needed. Regionally, China sees an opportunity, but also recognizes Manila's determination to modernize on its own terms. The decision signals to global arms suppliers that emerging powers like the Philippines are now discerning customers. Price, life cycle costs, and technology transfer matter more than brand names. Other developing nations are watching closely. For Manila, this is a new chapter, assertive, independent, and credible among ASEAN neighbors. The Philippines is no longer a pawn, but a middle power shaping its own destiny. With the F-16 off the table, Manila is weighing two main options. The Swedish JAS-39 Gripen is a lightweight, cost-efficient fighter known for low operational costs and easy maintenance. It can operate from short runways, ideal for an archipelago, and comes with generous technology transfer and industrial cooperation. A Gripen deal could jumpstart the Philippine aerospace industry and boost self-reliance. The other contender is the upgraded South Korean Ki-Fa-50, a platform the Air Force already flies. An enhanced Fa-50 offers new capabilities including advanced radar and missiles, with minimal integration costs. Familiarity means faster, cheaper adoption. South Korea's offer is expected to be competitive, with flexible financing and tech sharing. While the Fa-50 isn't as advanced as the Gripen, it may be the good enough solution. Credible, affordable, and sustainable. Manila's next choice will reflect its new priorities: independence, practicality, and value. The F-16 rejection is part of a broader shift, the Self-reliant Defense Posture, or SRDP. For decades, Manila relied on the US for security. Now the SRDP emphasizes defending itself first, before outside help arrives. The focus is on building a domestic defense industry, manufacturing everything from small arms to patrol boats, and eventually, more complex systems. This reduces foreign dependence and creates jobs, linking security and economic growth. The SRDP also diversifies partnerships, strengthening ties with Japan, Australia, South Korea, and European nations. By building a network of relationships, Manila gains access to more technology and diplomatic support. Acquisitions are now based on practicality and sustainability, not prestige. The goal, a layered, affordable defense tailored to the archipelago's unique challenges. Investments focus on coastal defense, anti-ship missiles, patrol vessels, drones, and a cost-effective air force. The aim isn't to match adversaries plane for plane, but to make aggression costly and risky. It's a smart, asymmetric strategy for a middle power facing a giant. This decision marks a turning point for the Philippines and Southeast Asia's security landscape. The era of automatic American dominance in the arms market is over. Nations now prioritize development and independence. The US must adapt, offering more flexible deals and technology transfer to stay competitive. Manila's move subtly shifts the US-China rivalry, giving the Philippines more diplomatic maneuverability. But this isn't a pivot to China, it's a pivot inward, towards self-sufficiency. A truly independent Philippines could be a more stable, effective regional player. This is a moment of national significance, a graduation to self-assessment and self-determination. National pride now means building a sustainable, effective Filipino defense force. By saying no to the F-16, Manila says yes to a future defined by its own ingenuity and resolve. The Philippines is emerging as a confident, capable force, redefining strength on its own terms.